let me invite on stage our first speaker, talking to us about food safety and quality updates. I would now like to invite the President of Association of Food Industries USA, Mr. Bob Bauer. The Association of Food Industries represents over 1,000 companies involved in importing various food products into US and Canada. Bob also serves as the Executive Director of the National Association of Flavors and Food Ingredient Systems and manages the Chemical Sources Association and Society of Flavor Chemists. He's an expert in food import regulations, FSMA, FSVP compliance, and association management, having played a key role in developing FDA-approved training programs and advocacy for industry standards. Ladies and gentlemen, let's bring some warmth in the house. Let's have a round of applause for Mr. Bob Bauer. Come on.
Good morning. Thank you. Actually, maybe a round of applause for our Mistress of Ceremonies here. She's done a wonderful job over the last couple of days. We appreciate that. I also want to congratulate and thank you folks for taking the time and the resources to come here. It helps the entire category the more we get people involved. So it's wonderful to be here. I appreciate that. And real quick on tap. So what is AFI? As mentioned, it's the Trade Association for the U.S. food import sector. Cashews is an important component of what AFI does. But there's thousands of products that our members bring in from all over the world, and we interact on a daily basis with government officials and the like, and we're sort of the voice of the food import sector in the United States. We're going to talk about quality, food safety, and some business practices, and you know, it's a high-level kind of look because I only have about 15 minutes to be with you this morning, but I wanted to talk a little bit first about the AFI specifications for cashew kernels. And it started basically at the request of your customers and their customers. A lot of different specs were in place at the time, unofficial type of things. So another role that AFI plays, we said, all right, we're going to create a specification. Now this isn't done, by the way, just by the importers or something. We have scientists involved, and we reach out to producing countries, both through associations and through through the companies. So we're trying to get input because we realize it's not good to create a standard that you wouldn't be able to meet, you know, that sort of thing. So we always are looking to get input on anything that we do. We have some other standards as well. We have dried apricots, Brazil nuts, let's see, I'm forgetting one, and then we're going to do one on macadamia nuts as well. So that's just in the starting process. Somebody asked me just a few minutes ago, he says, the latest version I have of your spec was 2009. Well, it's been updated since, and that was in 2023. And you'll be able to get this, the last page of my slides will have my contact information. So you can send me an email not only to request the slides, but you can ask for the standard, but also the QR code will take you to the standard. So real quick on the real high points of it, these are some of the key technical requirements that are in the standard. You know, I've had the opportunity and the pleasure to visit some cashew facilities. And it's always gratifying to see a lot of times the standard, the AFI standard, is, I like to see it posted in the facility. And it's important for you to realize too that even though it's meant, you know, it was created for U.S. buyers, most of the cashews sold around the world are against the AFI specification. And that's why another reason we want to make sure that we're all inclusive in anything that we're putting together. So here are the major, you know, key technical requirements. And again, you can download on right here that, or again, I'll have my direct email on the last slide. We can get that. So food safety um, also, as important as quality. And I'm going to take the next two slides to show you first what a producer has to have, and then what I would want from you or need from you if I'm importing from you. So this is a nice diagram here that I took right from a Food and Drug Administration presentation. And this is what you're going to need if you're producing cashews. If you're manufacturing, processing, packing, or holding food, you're subject to what we'll call the Human Food Regulation. And you have to have documents to show all of this. And it all starts with the hazard analysis. So you have to look at the biological, chemical, and physical hazards known to be associated with cashews. All right? And you have to put it all in writing, determine what the hazards are, and because that's where everything starts. You can't do anything related to food safety until you've identified what the hazards are. So the next step then is going to be putting preventive measures in place to address those hazards. Now you notice I will not refer to anything up here as a HACCP plan, Hazard Analysis Critical Control Points, because this regulation has been in place for about 7 or 8 years now, goes further than HACCP. HACCP is almost there. You want to talk preventive control. So you're putting measures in place to prevent these hazards from happening. You have a plan. You have these preventive controls that you say are being carried out. Now you have to monitor that they are indeed being carried out. Corrective actions. So if you know there's a risk of salmonella in a product, you're going to have something in your plan from day one saying, if salmonella is detected, here's what we do. If it's something new that comes up, then you're going to add a corrective action to your plan. What number 5 is verification. You could have a /validation. Are you still using current methods? Are you up to speed? Are you also ensuring that the equipment is providing good results, verifiable results? And then the last one is really important, record keeping. And right from FDA, if it's not written down, it didn't happen. And it's key. Record keeping is causing issues, and this isn't specific to cashews, this is with food not only produced in the other countries, but in the US as well. Okay. Now, let's say we met here, and I'm not an importer myself, but if I was, this is what I'm going to need from you in order to be buying from you. And you're going to say, I need a lot of information, and I have no choice. And that's an important thing that you have to be aware of. Now, what I did on here, this is now, FDA knocks on my door, and these are the documents I have to have. And I've underlined the ones that I'm pretty sure, in other words, about 99% of importers are going to get from you. Because you've identified, you've had to do a hazard analysis for the products, and the regulation says there has to be one. So I'm going to rely on you, because you have more scientific knowledge about the product than I do. So I'm going to get a hazard analysis from you, and that risk posed by the food is part of the hazard analysis. And then I have to look at you. Okay, you've identified the risk, and now I have to do some research on you. And FDA has a lot of good information on its website where I can get your inspection results and things like that. So I have to check up on you, and I have to go through a procedure to approve you. So if we met and everything was going great here today, I would still have to go through an approval process before I could start buying from you. And it's good that you know that, because this way you're not expecting something to happen overnight. It may take a couple of days, a couple of weeks, depending on how quickly you're able to interact with your supplier and your potential customers. So I underlined those next ones, the determination of verification activities, performance of those activities, and discussion of any needed corrective actions. Again, they're going to get that from you. On that last slide in the circle, you have determined what the verification steps are going to be. Those are your preventive controls. And then I have to see that you did them. Because what will happen is FDA may tell me today that it's coming on Thursday, about these two entries I made 6 weeks ago. And if one of them is yours, I need to have all that information ready and in my files so when FDA arrives, I have it there. So this is an ongoing type of thing. Again, a lot of times if I cover that, it takes the better part of a day. All right, so I did it in about 3.5 minutes, I think. So it's just a very top line kind of thing. A lot of people say, well, how do I get started now in the United States? Well, this is what's going to happen. First thing I'm going to ask you, have you registered your facility with FDA yet? So any facility, any place in the world that's manufacturing, processing, packing, or holding food that's going to be sold in the U.S. must register with FDA. FDA doesn't charge you for that, but there is a requirement for a foreign facility to have someone in the United States be what they call the facility registration agent, and it's just someone that helps communicate with FDA. Now, we do that for free for any company that's a member of the association. There are some other entities that charge you. Just be careful. Don't be fooled into paying somebody to do something. There's one company in particular that really tries to scare people. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and we'll give you the straight answer on it. You also need what's called a DUNS number. That's also free. And if you just do Google DUNS number, it'll take you. Now, a very important thing is the information that you enter for facility registration on FDA website and the DUNS number must match exactly. So if it says 123 Main Street and the other one says 123 Main ST period, to abbreviate it, one of them is going to get rejected. So it's very important to make sure that you do that properly. Do one, get it approved, and then copy it right into the other to make sure that it matches. Supplier approval, I touched on it briefly, but again, you need to be aware that there's a process there. We run an arbitration service, and a couple of years ago, an importer refused to take goods from a supplier because the supplier didn't provide the needed information to get approved. And the importer said, we can't take the risk because FDA says we have to approve you before we can buy from you. So you want to keep that in mind. And like I said, I'm going to be asking you for a lot of information. I really need to know what's going on in your facility, including a list of all your ingredients, because I have to make sure that there's no allergen cross-contact risk, things like that. Real quick here, you want to communicate, and your customers, this goes for anywhere in the world, should be communicating openly with you and transparently. All right? Long-term approach. That's the best way to address any kind of needs going forward. It's a partnership. It came up in the closed-door meeting the other day. Make sure there's an arbitration clause in there for you. I had somebody come up to me at a trade show once, and somebody was trying to kind of last minute make him start paying commissions. Protect yourself. If you have a question, take a day, consult an attorney, you can reach out to us, whatever. We want to make sure that it works for both parties. And rely on associations, no matter what the product. If you're not going to sell to the United States, then there's no reason to join AFI. But I do recommend you be in the association, not only in your producing country, but to the countries that you want to sell into, because it's a great way to become associated with existing and potential customers. And then a bonus slide, and I hate to use the word bonus and tariff in the same slide, but I got asked so many questions about this last couple of days, so I just wanted to add, take one more minute, and we don't know what's going to happen tariff-wise. And if anybody tells you that, you just need to move away, because I don't think our president knows now what he's going to say at 2 o'clock about tariffs. So it's just a wait and see kind of game. Agricultural Agriculture typically hasn't been impacted as much as other products. But there's all kinds of threats going on. He's had some success early on with his threats on tariffs, so he might be emboldened. We just don't know. Now, one thing I am pretty sure about is that there will be some advance notice. So Vietnam, for example, has a huge trade surplus with the United States that makes it a target for tariffs. But if he announces tariffs today, they're not going to be in effect today. There will be some sort of process that has to go through, but you just want to keep that in mind, keep up on the news, and be ready to act. Not sure when the next announcement's going to happen. It happened a couple times since I've been here, so there's always some news going on there. We're our source for that information. Feel free to reach out. We have relationships with all the trade associations and the governments in your countries as well. So, they know how to get a hold of me, and we could do that. And now you know how to get a hold of me. That's my direct email and the like. It's not on there, is it? So it's my name without any spaces. So BOBBAUER at AFI-US.org. I'm on the app too, so you can get it that way, and I have cards and all here. I'm happy to, I'll be around, happy to answer questions later, and thank you all for being here, and I wish you a good rest of the conference.
So I guess your presentation has been pretty comprehensive, sir. May I request you to please step into the middle of the stage? Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to invite from Royal Nuts, Sri Venkateshan Rajkumar, to present a memento to Mr. Bob Bauer.